Hello, everybody. Welcome to Crafty Chemist Designs. Happy Easter, everybody. While I share this live to the group, why don't you tell me what you did today? Did you have anything good to eat? Okay, I shared to the group, so we'll get started in a minute. Let me tag everybody. Hold on. I'm not able to get onto the group. Hold on one second. Okay, there we go. Hi, Jeannie. How you doing? Okay, I got everybody tagged. You had everyone over. That's good. Good food, visiting. I'm so glad. Okay, I got everybody tagged. Our weather was pretty nice here too in Chicagoland. I just wore a shawl over my dress and it had short sleeves. I was a little bit chilly, like walking into church, but I wasn't cold. So that's great. Today we are going to be making one or two of these really easy cards. I'm calling it, a card where you can let your paper shine. So just grab your favorite paper. I did use 4 different designs. So if you're using, double-sided paper, you just really need 2 different sheets. Or you can use 1 sheet and then just, double it up and do every other one. But pick out some of your favorite paper and just use it. And then I just use a simple die with the sentiment on the front. So if you have oval dies or square dies, rectangle dies, whatever, I'm using these new ones that are called Beautifully Celebrated. They were either part of the online exclusives or the current catalog. But I made this is the one I'm going to make because I wanted to feature this paper because I love this paper. That's what kind of gave me the idea of having a card where the paper shined, because I really wanted to use this paper. But then I thought, well, I made a Mother's Day card. Let's make a Father's Day card. And I used this paper. I think it's called Adventure Awaits. Let me see. Oh, it's called Take to the Sky. Take to the Sky. So I thought, you could totally change up the look by changing the paper. I did use a little bit different dye because I thought this one might be too feminine. And I happen to have these dies, which I thought was very similar. And then I thought, well, you can make a birthday card out of it. And I used the Perfectly Pairs paper, which I do love. And I use this really fun happy birthday stamp that I don't think I've shown this yet. And I actually got this at the last convention. So I've had it for a year. It's called Layered Thoughts. I really love the font on it. And I don't know why I haven't used it more. And then I thought, well, if you need an easy Christmas card, this would be a really easy one. If you need to crank out a bunch of Christmas cards to send to your friends and family, this was really easy. Just take, a Christmas paper pack, cut it up, have the nice sentiment, Merry Christmas, and you're good to go. So that's my plan for today. Does everybody have their favorite paper picked out that they want to use? Okay, so quickly before we start, just a couple announcements. One is, don't forget to sign up for my free National Scrapbooking Month virtual crop party. It will be on May 9th from 1 to 9 p.m. Central Time. It's open scrapbooking, but we will have games, prizes. There's a make and take, and if you mark going on the event, I will send you a make and take to create a scrapbook layout. And then I'm also going to do a demo of a technique. And there'll be a little bit more about that closer to the day. And I usually have a challenge layout, which leads to the prizes. If you do the challenge layout, you get entered for a prize. There are new products of the month. A product of the month since last week. Happy Easter, Megan. There is a new product of the month, and this, I don't know if this printout doesn't show it very well, but it's this really beautiful eyelet. So it's like, you can do the whole card front of this eyelet design. And remember, the product of the month is our special where you get to purchase the product for $5 with a $75 purchase. This one is a must-have for me. I really love this lace. So I'm definitely going to be getting this with my April order. Actually, this paper that I'm using, the Painted Illusions, was a product of the month, and I think it was a February product of the month, although it is still available. And so you can go back and purchase previous products of the month as your option if it's still available. It's while supplies last. So once they get sold out, they don't come back. But this one was still available. So you still can get this paper for $5. So, yeah. So, I think it's every $75 you can pick a different one, but you only get the product of the month once. So you can only get like one of those dies or one of this paper pack. There are 2 new kits this week. This one is gorgeous. It's called Painted Skies. And look at this paper. It does coordinate with a paper that's coming in a new May to August catalog. So there is a whole suite of this kind of look. So I'm really excited about that. So this is one of the kits. I think it makes 9 cards, 3 of each of these 3 cards. And then there's also one of the new kits is a scrapbooking kit. So this kit makes 6 2-page layouts, so 12 layouts. 12 by 12 layouts. These are like the old, the Close to My Heart. Oh goodness, I can't remember what the name of those kits were, but you could make usually it had a couple scrapbook pages or something, but they were, basically you punch out the designs. They have different ephemera that you add. So this is exactly like this. Okay. And then the last thing is just don't forget about the online exclusives. Those are still going on. This Jam one is my recommendation. Get that while you can. Oh, here's the suite, the whole suite of it. Look at those jelly jars. Aren't they cute? And then I also like this camera set. The Capturing Smiles. That's my second recommendation. Although a lot of people like this, especially if you live near an ocean. These dies, there's three, looks like 4 of them, and then some stamp sets. It really makes it look like it's an ocean. Like, it's very realistic. So, okay, who is ready to start? I'm just letting the thing catch up to me. Okay, so let's go ahead and make this. I'll show you how easy it is. Like I said, this is the Painted Illusion paper, and this is what you can get for $5 with a $75 purchase. It's a full pack, and it's 12 by 12. Which, I don't know, for some reason, when I saw it online, I thought it was going to be 6 by 6. Because some of them that look like this kind of are 6 by 6. But these are 12 by 12. So I'll show you some of these. I love this one. I think I did use this one. It's kind of behind, but I did use this one. And then this kind of cherry blossom look. Which I just used this in a fun project I'm making for 2 weeks time that we're gonna make together. Let's see, this one's got kind of mermaid scales. Do they go this way, or I think they go this way? Mermaid scales, ombre, and then this, I think they kind of look like ferns, but let's see. Okay, this looks similar to the other one, to this one, but the designs are different. You can see this one is just like arcs, but this one, there's more kind of swirls. I really do love this one. And then you've got this really nice, I don't even know what you call that, but really pretty. And then there's this one, which is an ombre. I used a little bit of this. This is like a ombre color with these kind of leaves on it, and then the back are, and this design has a name, but I don't remember. Maybe like, I don't think it's arabesque, but they're kind of medallion-like. And I think that's all, because this one, I believe you get 3 or 4. You must get 3 of each of the designs. Some of the papers you get 2 designs of like 6 different pages. And this one you get 3 of, I think, 4 different designs. Okay. So let me move these. Let's start with a card base. This card base is just 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Oh, it's really, 5 1/2 by 8 1/2 folded in half. Of basic white cardstock. Oh, and I do have a resource page. Let me link that. Okay, before I forget. Okay, so what you need are 4 pieces of cardstock, or paper, designer series paper. And this is actually a good card design to use up some leftover scraps from a paper pack also. But these sheets are 1 1/4 inch wide and 4 inches tall. Let me get my cutter. And I had, okay, let's see, I have this one. I have some of these cut already, so. Okay, let's use these. Let's see, is that 4 inches? Oh, these aren't 4 inches. Okay, this one's 1 1/4, so we'll do these ones. And let's see, what else? And then I'll use this. Okay, so this is 1 1/4. It's already cut from before. And I'll do 4 inches. And then we'll see if this one's 4 inches. Okay, yeah, this one's 4 inches too, so I can use, I'll probably use this one and then this side. Okay, so we've got 2. Now let's cut this 1 1/4. I'm going to cut it to this direction. Seems to be easier. Okay, and then I'll do 4 and 4. Now let's see what side of the back we like. I think I'm gonna like this one because it goes with these colors the best. Although that one's nice. I think maybe I'll use this one. Yeah, I think I'm gonna use that one. Okay, now let's put these down on the paper. First, let's decide on the order we want them. I'll put them on a similar order that I did here. And then you're going to want to space them out kind of evenly. So what I did is I used my mat and I made it, it's kind of center on the 6. Okay, that's not centered on the 6. Let's see. Okay, that's centered on the 6. And then I just put the 3rd one kind of to the right of the 6-inch mark. Right on here, halfway. I just made it kind of just to the right of halfway. And then this one. Hope they will fit nicely. Oh, I might have made it too close. I'm gonna have to rip that one up, I think. Made it too close. There's only about 1/8 of an inch that separates these. Okay. And then this one. And I'm trying to keep it even up here at the top. And then fit this one in. So it's not too bad there. That's pretty good. Okay, now let's decide on the color we want for the mat. The colors in this paper pack are Darling Duckling, Flirty Flamingo, Granny Apple Green, Lost Lagoon, Misty Moonlight, Petal Pink, and Pretty and Peacock. Or Pretty Peacock. So I do have some Flirty Flamingo here. So I thought I'd use that because I thought that would be nice for Mother's Day. So let me show you these dies. These are called Beautifully Celebrated. There is a stamp set that goes with this, but I just bought this. Stamp set that goes with. Yeah, you know, Michelle, every time I start with the outside and move in, it seems like I never have room for the last one. So I try to start in the middle so that I can kind of space it out. But, you know, when you're eyeballing it, it just doesn't work sometimes. But have you ever done that when you're like doing letters? Like, let me show you this page I just did for next week. You know, you're doing these letters, you start on one side and then you start going, and then I find I don't have room for all of the letters. So I usually try to start in the middle. But okay, these stamps have all of these nesting shapes, and I really love this shape. It's something different that I don't have. Like I said, I have this one that's similar, but it's not exact, but you know, I don't have this, so I definitely wanted this. And then it's got these little corners. These little corners are great if you are making heritage scrapbook albums. Oh, I didn't realize this one was one. I thought this was two different dies. But if you're making heritage albums, you can put these as the little corners. So I think that's really good. Now, one thing you have to think about which size of these you want is, I wanted to use this Mother's Day, this stamp set, and this Mother's is fairly large. So what I did is I compared the size of the stamp with the dies to find the right one. And, you know, really, the sentiment thing ended up being a little bit bigger than what I wanted. But, so, you know, I kind of made it, I think, fit onto this one. So this was my white, the white paper. And so then the one right above it, slightly bigger, was my matte. So that's how I did it. If you look at my Christmas one, you can see my stamp was smaller, so I was able to go with, I think, this one as the matte, and then use this one as the sentiment. So I think it just depends on which, what your sentiment is about what size you want to use. Okay, so let's cut this out of white and this out of the Flirty Flamingo. I've got the Flirty Flamingo, so let's start with this one. I need to order some more Flirty Flamingo. This is about all I have left. Now this paper is 8.5 by 11, so it's only one shade. But if you're using the 12 by 12 cardstock, you'd want to decide if you want the darker side or the lighter side. Okay, look how beautiful that is. Hi, Kathy. So beautiful. Okay, and now let's cut the white. Let's see. I brought some white over here. This piece I don't think is big enough. No, we'll have to cut this to fit. Okay, I'm gonna cut this about 4.5. Okay, I'm using basic white for the sentiment. Okay, we got what we need. Let me put these away so I don't lose them, because you guys know how my table gets messy when I'm live. Because I don't take the time to put things away always. Okay. So let's stamp, you know what, let's use the new Stampin' Positioner. I've got it out here, so let's use it. Okay, maybe I'll use this, the big plate. So it comes with the bigger plate and then the smaller one. But since this is a pretty big stamp, let's use a bigger plate. Okay. I don't know if we'll be able to. Okay. Now let's place this. What's nice about using the Stampin' Positioner is this really is just kind of slightly too small. Or it's too big for this. Okay, I'm happy with that. And then let's do, you could say have a lovely or happy, but I'm going to just do happy. And then Mother's, and then Day. Seems like I have that pretty high up. Okay. Okay. Now, what these have is these have these little holes on here that you put it on these tabs. And then you can line up the lines with the grid paper. And then you kind of push down. And then you see how these come up? Oh, I think my day either moved or I didn't have it straight. Let's straighten it. Okay. And then we can ink this up. I'm going to use strawberry slush because I don't have any Flirty Flamingo ink. And this is the old style pads. I do have some of the new pads I just got this week. So I can show you if you want. Okay. I got some on the thing here. Let's remove that. Okay, I hope this didn't move, because I shouldn't have probably moved it over so far. Put this back on, line it up, so it's not touching it yet, but then you can put it down, and it pops back up. There you go. Happy Mother's Day. And you can put it exactly where you want on your cardstock. If I had used my blocks, I probably would have done this in three different times. You know, stamped the mothers and then the happy and then the day, just to try and get it even. So I'm starting, you know, trying to use this more and more. So starting to learn more about it, but this was the first time actually I've used the bigger thing, the bigger mat. Before I had just used this little one to stamp smaller sentiments. So that was pretty fun. Has anybody ordered the Stamp and Positioner yet? Okay, so on this one, let's adhere it to the mat. And since these are nesting, they fit perfectly. And now let's put this on our card. Let me get my dimensionals. I forgot to bring dimensionals here. I'll just bring my whole little bin of embellishments and things. Okay, here's some dimensionals. I'm going to pop this up just to give it a little added, you know, texture. Okay. And then slap it on there. I really love how the paper does shine with this. Now let's decorate it. On this one, I used these little butterflies, and they're from these ephemera packs. I don't know if it was from the spring pack. You know, we've got all of these. They come on these sheets like this. I just punched them all out. So I already had gone through my stuff and kind of thought this might work. There's another, I don't have any more of these pink butterflies, but there was a butterfly that, but it was like a monarch butterfly. So I think I'm going to use these. Just have to figure out how we want it. It's a little bit hard since this is kind of big. I didn't want anything too much. So I think I'm going to do it like that. I might put a mini dimensional there. I think part of it will be hanging over. I'm not putting a dimensional on this part that's going to be on top of the sentiment where I've already have it popped up, because then that would make it like double popped up. Okay. And then this one, I'll bring my little, here we go. Only the bottom of this leaf is going to be on the sentiment. I think. Let's try and see. Well, okay. Put this just kind of where I think it looks good. Can't get this off my finger. There we go. Okay. And then it looks like I've got some gems on here too. So what gems do I have? What do we think about these pink ones? It's strawberry slush. I've got let's do these dewdrop ones. These are from the Cherry Cobbler and Pearl adhesive back berries. This is from a Christmas set. But these ones are still just plain. And, you know, you want to put them in groups of 3 to be more aesthetically pleasing. And I usually do it with 2 and then 1. You can also do 5. I don't think there's really room for 5 on there, but you can put as much bling or as little bling as you want. Okay, there we have our first card. What do we think? How was that? That was really easy. Now, I have time to make one more. Do you want me to make, you guys can vote. Let me know, you want me to try a Christmas one, or should I make another Father's Day one, since I did a Mother's Day? Or I could do the Happy Birthday. Which one should I do? Go ahead and vote. I'll wait 1 second while we decide. I'm not getting any votes. Let me see. So, let's see what I brought over here. Let's see what I brought over here. So, 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 let's see what I brought the Up in the Air. I brought the Christmas. I have an Easter one. One thing I wanted to point out, and I was going to maybe try it, but this paper, the square snippets, remember we did that scrapbook layout? There are some squares that are 4 inches, so 4 by 4 squares. You could definitely get a few strips out of these. Now, right? So I thought potentially I could do a card with these. So just when I was looking through paper that I could use, that's what I was thinking about. One thing that maybe we'll do these ones, because I wanted to show you, you see how this one, Happy Mother's Day, the Mother's is very big. Well, the Father's version didn't fit on this die, but there is a smaller set. So see where it's the fathers and mothers are really big, and then there's a smaller fathers and mothers. So that's why I wanted to make this one to show you. So I think maybe I'll do that. This is an old paper pack. I don't know if you can still get this. Let me see if it's still available. No, I don't think this one's still available. But you can use any, you know, any masculine like paper. Actually, the this blue set, it was one of the product of the month actually. This has a lot of masculine designs. You could use that. Okay, so let's use this one. Use this one. And then I want to use the back of this one. And then I really wanted to use this paper because I thought it tied the blues and the copper clay together. However, you'll notice that it's not 4 inches tall, but let me show you what I did to take care of that problem. Okay, so let's cut 1 1/4 by 4. Okay. And then this one, 1 1/4. By 4. And then I thought it was getting a little bit too blue, so that's why I thought, well, let's do this one. So 1 1/4 by 4. And then this one, let's cut this 1 1/4. I don't know what side. I think I want to use this piece here. Now this is not 4 inches. I mean, I could cut it 4 inches this way, but then the planes would be sideways, right? So what I did is I took this piece, it's 3 inches, and I cut it in half. And then we'll see how I use this. Okay, another card base that I've already got ready. Let's do it this way. Start with this one. Okay, let's start on the end, see how we do. Now, before we put the rest down, let's think about this, the order that we want to put them in. I knew probably that I was going to put a image over here. And so I wanted this more neutral backdrop to this, because I felt like if we had put this one over there, then this design would have covered up some of that design. So I thought like a nice, just neutral one was good for this side. So depending on where you think you're going to put your embellishment, like if you're going to put your embellishment over here, then obviously you'd want to put this piece, I think, over here. But I knew my plane was going that direction, you know, so I knew I was going to put it on the left side. Okay, so let's do the clouds. Actually, the clouds might have been cute over there. Like the plane was going up into the clouds. That might have been cute too. Okay, now this one, and this one you have to do it on one of these 2 middle ones that are covered up by the mat. You can't do it on the end pieces. But what I did is I just put 1/2 up at the top. And then I put this one down at the bottom. And then that part is going to be covered up by my design. So it's a way to stretch your paper. I do this sometimes when I'm using 6x6 paper, if I want to stretch it onto like a whole 12x12 layout, but the paper's 6x6. I'll cut it in the middle, put a photo or something in the center, and then do this, and it looks like it's a 10-inch strip or something. You never know what's underneath these things. No one's gonna look. And I really wanted that paper that had the blue and the copper clay all together to tie it all, together. Okay, so there's my base. Now let's cut this out. This, I think, is boho blue. This is one of the 2023, 2025, I think, in colors from Stampin' Up. So it is retired, but this is all that I have left, I think. Well, it's two-sided, so maybe it's Misty Moonlight. I'm not sure if boho blue came in two-toned, or if that was before the two-tone came into being. I'm going to look. Hold on. I've got my little color swatches here. All right. So this is Misty Moonlight. So it's definitely not Misty Moonlight. Boho blue. It is boho blue. So it must be two-toned. I thought I got it from that Now these are old ones from Close to My Heart I had in my stash. So you can use the same one we did here, but again, I thought it was a little bit too feminine. My last piece of boho blue, I'll be sad to see it go. I really like the colors in this, in color. This copper clay. This copper clay was part of that. I really love that one too. And I think the wheat, was it called wild wheat? I really like that. Okay, so here is the mat. Now let's cut the, let's see if I have enough of this. And luckily this set came with a mat and then a, oh yeah, that fits perfectly. A mat and then a sentiment piece. So, but you can use any, you know, if you have ovals, use ovals. If you have circles, you can use circles. As long as they're nesting, it'll work. Okay, so let's stamp this, and I wanted to show you the those smaller ones. Oops. Let's try this again. I'm trying to practice with this, so I want to use it as much as I can. This grid paper is extra. You have to buy it separately from this. But I think it's well worth it to be able to center things. Okay, so let's use the smaller fathers. Here is a smaller mothers also. So I'm gonna try and center that. And then let's do the happy. And then day. I'm really loving this stamp set. Okay, how does that look? Does that look spaced out good? Okay, and then you do this so it's showing stamping up, you know, facing up. Okay. I don't know if I move that. And I'm going to use Misty Moonlight ink because I don't have boho blue. And the nice thing about these is if I don't get this dark enough or there's part that's missing, you can go back and stamp it right in the same exact place. But I think that's stamped pretty good. I was also thinking, you know, if you're going to a craft weekend or, you know, a crop, I know before I've brought like 6 different stamping blocks, right? And those, first of all, they take up a lot of room and they're heavy. You could just bring this and you can stamp any, you know, any size, anything that you need. You don't have to worry about bringing all your different blocks. You know you have the right size block. I know one time when we went to Scotland and I was crafting there. I had brought some blocks, but the one block I brought wasn't big enough for the stamp I was going to use. I was going to do a background stamp, so I don't know why I didn't think to bring a bigger block. But I ended up using my like battery of my, I think the computer battery or something as the block. If I had brought this, I wouldn't have had to worry about that. I would have had it, and it doesn't take up that much room. It's pretty flat. Okay, so let's adhere this to the mat. Again, this one is a close to my heart retired set, so don't fall in love with this one too much. Okay, and then let's pop this up. But look, do you see how this covers this gaping hole here? Nobody will even know that that is not a full 4-inch piece. Okay. Take the backings off. Now for this set, this paper, I did not buy the stamp set that came with it because I had just bought a very similar plain set from Close to My Heart before, we closed. So I thought, I didn't need another one because it was very similar. So what I did is I took some of the paper I did look at all of the, this set came with things like this, like little cutouts. And I decided to fussy cut these out. I don't know. I don't like any of those in that location. Let's see what else is on this one. Okay, I have this one. So let's use this one. Because I like the angle of this one. First I just do a rough cut around it. So I don't have all that bulk. And then I'll fussy cut. I am not the best fussy cutter and I don't love it, but I do it when it makes sense. Like this, it makes sense because I don't have any ephemera or any stamps to go with this set. What I do love is a lot of our stamp sets and dies now can have dies that cut images from the paper. So I really love that. I love when the sets do that. And I'm just slowly, and if you notice, I'm moving the paper. I'm really keeping my scissors straight up and down. You see how my scissors always kind of point north? And then I turn the paper into the scissors. You get a better, like a straighter cut. Let's see here. Okay, and so what I did on this one is just adhered it with adhesive. I put it just like that. If you want, maybe I'll put I don't know if I didn't put a little mini dimensional. Let's put a little mini dimensional. If I've got some out here. I've got a mini dimensional right here. You just want to make sure it doesn't overlap with the sentiment thing that's popped up. And that's you see now how this is pretty stable. If I push on it, see here, it kind of bends down. There it's stable. So since this piece extends off, let's put one on this one too. It prevents it from getting kind of squished down. And then I did put some dots here, some gems. I just had those out, I thought. Oh, here they are. These ones are basic gray and smoky slate pearls. These ones are pearls, and they are a little dimensional. But I'm going to hand deliver these. I'm not going to mail them. So I think that's okay. But I think the colors go pretty well. I don't think it's actually boho blue. I think they're gray. But I think that's fine. But it just gives a little bit of something extra on the card. Okay, so there you go. Here are the 2 cards we made today. But like I was saying, this is a very easy design that you can do for anything. I did Mother's Day, Father's Day. I also did a birthday and Christmas. But you can make a baby card, anniversary card, wedding cards even. This would be really beautiful with a wedding card, that design. So I really recommend this beautifully celebrated dies, because I love to have my sentiments be on a shaped die. I don't like to just have, a square, rectangle or something. I really love it like this. So I love this. And there's so many sizes. I only really used a few different sizes here. Okay, but this is a really easy design. I made it kind of easy so that my nephews could recreate it if they were going to. A lot of times on Easter, they craft with me because they're here, but they didn't come up this Easter because my brother had to work, so they stayed home with my sister-in-law. My brother works from home, so they had their Easter there. Anyway, so my nephews didn't come up to. I know you guys love to watch my nephews. Maybe I'll get them to come up and do another live with me this summer. Okay, next week we are going to do a scrapbook layout, and we are going to do a layout using the boardwalk. the boardwalk set. This is one layer. I love the Ferris wheel, and it's got the palm trees. And I love the colors. Aren't the colors fun? They're very kind of citrusy. On this one, I went total citrus. Lemon, orange, lime. Some of the other ones will have different colors. One that we actually do next week, I think, will be maybe more of a pink or something, because I used both sheets of this is, I don't know if you can tell, but this is ombre paper here. So I use both sheets. So I'll have to use 2 different sheets for next week. But this is what we're going to make next week. So I hope you join me. Thanks for joining me. I hope you had a nice Easter. And I'm looking forward to a really nice spring. So, also, next week, I've got a special YouTube video dropping. It's called the Triple Arch Card. So this is part of my YouTube hop. It's going to go live next Sunday. Okay, so watch my YouTube channel for this. My YouTube is Crafty Chemist Design, so this will drop. It's a really fun fold card. That will drop next week. Okay? Thanks for joining. Happy Easter. Talk to you next week. Bye.